When you offer your heart, only to be met with silence, the resulting emptiness is a sign of being undervalued rather than a reflection of your worth. This hurt contains a hidden strength that allows you to shift the dynamic by understanding the internal battle of an avoidant person. Their withdrawal is rarely about you. It is driven by a deep fear of intimacy, openness, and the discomfort of facing their own mistakes. By recognizing that their coldness is a mirror of their own inner turmoil, you can begin to move away from a place of emotional devastation. Realizing this allows you to stop seeking validation from someone who is currently incapable of providing it, setting the stage for you to reclaim your personal power and inner peace. The most effective way to change this situation is to stop the pursuit and create a necessary emotional vacuum through the use of silent power. Avoidants are naturally wired to retreat when they sense pressure, so pleading for an apology only pushes them further into hiding. By standing firm in your own value and refusing to participate in reactive games, you force them to sit with the unease of their own choices. People often notice what they have lost more sharply than what they still hold, and your absence becomes a quiet mirror they cannot ignore. This space isn't an act of cruelty, but a psychological necessity that allows the other person to experience the natural consequences of their behavior without you there to soften the impact. If you want an avoidant to finally apologize, hit like right now. Ultimately, this path is about achieving emotional freedom that does not depend on an outside apology to feel complete. While the quiet pressure you create may eventually lead to a sincere recognition of the pain they caused, your true goal is building a foundation of self-respect that stays whole regardless of their response. True strength grows when you stop answering from a place of need and start moving with a clear plan rooted in your own principles and steady patience. By staying balanced and firm, you reclaim your autonomy and ensure that your happiness is no longer tied to another person's avoidance. Whether they choose to face the truth or continue hiding, you emerge with a rising sense of certainty and a calm that remains untouched by their silence. Finally, as you move through this path, keep in mind that this is not about getting even or causing them pain on purpose. It is about setting up the right conditions for truth to appear in its own natural time. When a person sees what they have lost, when they at last notice the results of their habit of avoiding, a real apology starts to feel almost certain to happen. And the wonderful part of this method is that it succeeds not because you direct their actions, but because you direct and master your own actions and feelings. Your peaceful manner, your inner strength, and your clear emotions become the sparks that light up their own awakening. So keep holding your personal power tightly. Do not run after them. Do not plead endlessly. Do not give too many explanations. Stand strong in your self-respect and in the clear knowledge that your worth does not change according to their behavior or choices. Learn the usual patterns of avoidance deeply. Trust that your patience, your firm limits, and your emotional freedom will set up the right setting where deeper thought, real regret, and honest recognition grow by themselves. By the end of this whole journey, you will not only raise the chances of receiving a meaningful apology, but you will also grow into a stronger, more balanced, and more sure person in command of your own emotional life than you ever thought possible before. Once you have taken in the ideas of patience and emotional freedom, the following part is mastering the skill of gentle influence. Influence does not mean taking charge completely. It does not involve tricks or playing mind games at all. It is the natural, quiet manner in which your presence or your chosen distance touches another person's thoughts. Avoidant people notice changes in usual patterns very sharply. They sense shifts in energy levels, in limits being kept, and in where attention goes. Every time you keep yourself balanced, choose not to answer from a place of pain, and hold your calm manner, it sends a clear signal even without speaking any words. It is a signal that says you are complete on your own. you hold value, and you do not depend on their approval for your peace. This silent certainty pulls attention in a deep way, and it is precisely what starts the inner thinking they have been avoiding. The difficulty lies in fighting the wish to fill every quiet moment, to clear up every small issue, or to keep proving your own worth. Doing those things keeps them feeling safe because it gives them an easy way out. Your careful explanations, no matter how honest or deeply felt, often work like a soft protection that stops them from meeting the real outcomes of their avoidance. When you take away that protection, you make room for reality to settle in fully. They begin noticing the results of their distance, the meaning of the gap they created, and the true importance of the steady presence they used to accept without thinking. This forms the gentle power of standing emotionally free. It brings about thinking time without any argument. At the same time, building this quiet influence makes your own inner self much stronger. It teaches you to reply with thought instead of sudden emotion, to move from clear understanding rather than from raw feelings alone. Every time you pick careful holding back over quick messages sent in the moment, every time you respect your own limits instead of searching for outside confirmation, you build your own steady base even higher. This steady base feels attractive in the truest meaning because it shows honest truth. You are not moved by fear, by strong needs, or by any insecurity. Comment avoidant if you've been hurt by their silence and distance. You act from a place of real strength, and the human mind, even an avoidant one, feels naturally pulled toward what it cannot easily manage or control. They start to see that their choices do bring results, and that the person they once avoided easily is now someone who stands firm and unshaken. It is necessary to remember that inner thinking does not always come right away. Human thinking happens in gradual layers over time. At the beginning, they might answer with mixed feelings, with defense, or even with tries to bring back the old ways. They may check your limits or quietly try to bring out an old reaction from you. This behavior is usual and expected. Their pushback shows that your steady presence and chosen distance are having an effect. When you stay peaceful, balanced, and the same in your approach, the difference between their uneasy feelings and your firm stability starts creating real understanding. Understanding then leads toward recognition. Recognition leads toward deeper seeing, and deeper seeing opens the path to a true and honest apology. Each part grows naturally out of the one before it, and each part gains power from your own emotional freedom and strength. Another very important piece in this whole method is watching yourself carefully. While you give them time to think, you must also spend time thinking about your own self. Pay attention to your emotions as they come. Notice when old ways of following after or giving long reasons start to appear, and then choose a better answer on purpose. This kind of watching stops frustration from hurting your forward movement. It also builds the habit of depending on your own self more fully. The more steady you grow in your personal experiences, the stronger your gentle influence becomes in return. Emotional freedom is not simply about holding back your focus from them. It is about growing a way of thinking that stays firm, even when another person's actions feel unsure or changing. During this period, it feels normal to have some moments of questioning. You might wonder if your chosen way is truly working, if they will ever accept the pain they caused, or if your patient waiting serves any real purpose. These questions form part of the natural process, and they can turn into extra energy for your inner strength. Tell yourself often that real change in another person cannot be hurried or demanded from outside. You are not in charge of their choice to face the honest facts. What you are in charge of is your own steady presence, your own calm manner, and your own consistent actions through it all. That is the place where your true power rests firmly, and it is exactly what forms the right conditions for them to step forward with open honesty. It is also helpful to notice the small signals of growing awareness when they start feeling the outcomes of their avoidance. They may begin in quiet ways, such as longer looks, careful messages, or small admissions during talks. These small signs, though easy to miss, show that inner thinking is taking place inside them. Type yes if you want the exact steps that make avoidance apologize. Each one serves as proof that your method is creating real results. Instead of jumping to quick guesses or answering with strong emotions, keep your balanced manner. Let the natural growth of awareness happen at its own speed. The longer you hold this quiet strength, the more possible it becomes for them to reach a real point of apology from their own choice and timing. At its center, this method rests on the idea of influence that does not react with force. When someone senses the results of their own behavior without any outside push, they deal with it inside their own mind. They consider, they feel, and in time they come to see clearly. And avoidant people in particular answer well to steady but not direct signals that things have shifted. Your firm limits, your choice not to give too many explanations, and your focus on your own good health all send a strong, honest message. Their habit of avoidance can no longer decide how peaceful you feel. This honest message touches them deeply and starts a process of self-looking that spoken words by themselves cannot create. Finally, keep remembering that this whole path changes you just as much as it influences them. It builds toughness, self-belief, and clear sight. You learn to prize your own presence, your emotions, and your honest way more than the changing reactions of other people. You find out that the road to a real apology does not go through chasing, arguing, or trying to convince someone. It goes through becoming someone who cannot be shaken easily. And when they at last see the hurt they caused, when their awareness wakes up fully, the recognition they give is real and comes from inside, not forced by anything outside. That kind of realness carries much more meaning and weight than any apology won through pressure or clever methods. This part is about quiet control over your own emotional world. It is about setting up the right space for inner thinking, while also building your own strong base at the same time. It is about having trust. Trust in your own self. Trust in the natural results that come from how people behave. And trust that real recognition, when it does happen, holds far more value than any quick satisfaction you might want right away. By taking this approach fully, you are not simply raising the chance of getting an apology. You are taking back your personal power, guarding your calm, and growing the firm confidence that comes from truly knowing your own worth. Now that you understand the strength of gentle influence and emotional freedom, it is time to pay attention to a rule that matters even more. Creating real awareness inside them. Awareness is not only noticing that you are no longer close. It is about starting a deep, inner thinking process in someone who has avoided owning their part in things. Avoidant people seldom consider the results of their actions unless something around them makes them stop and look carefully. Share this video with someone stuck dealing with an avoidant. That stopping moment does not come from force or direct arguments. It comes from steady presence, chosen distance, and keeping the same approach over time. By holding your limits and staying centered in yourself, you begin showing them the complete view of what their avoidance has created. Not with anger or blame, but through quiet and clear facts they cannot deny. This method succeeds because human thinking naturally looks for balance in life. When a person sees that their choices have brought real harm, and that harm carries actual results, their mind finds it hard to push aside forever. The avoidant one may fight the uneasy feeling at first, try to make excuses, or even act as if nothing important changed. That reaction is something to expect. Resistance often means that deeper thinking is happening below the surface. Each time of pressure between their avoidance and your steady way becomes a mirror they cannot turn from for long. The longer this pressure stays, the more their own self-thinking cannot be avoided any longer. And self-thinking marks the first movement toward recognition, regret, and at last, a real apology. Learning this rule needs patience and careful holding back. It feels easy to want to fill quiet times, to give reasons for your emotions, or to ask strongly for recognition. These natural reactions, however, tend to protect their avoidance instead of truly challenging it. Every reason you give, every try to make them see your view, works like a soft layer that lets them stay easy and free from responsibility. By choosing to stay balanced, calm, and steady, you take away that soft layer. You prove to them that your value stands on its own, no matter what they do. And in that way, you place the beginning of real recognition. This forms a gentle mental tool that succeeds because it honors both your limits and their need to think things through by themselves. One of the strongest parts of this way is that it brings change without any direct fight. Avoidant types feel very uneasy with open emotional talks. Pushing them usually causes more pulling away, while making space for their own awareness lets them meet their issues by their own choice. Every moment you keep your calm and guard your peace, you send a silent but strong message. I am not depending on your approval for anything. I stand firm in my own value. That message, repeated through your consistent actions over time, starts to weaken the mental walls they have created for protection. It is the quiet but steady force of honest living that wakes up real insight. Another necessary part is mastery over your own self. While the avoidant person works through their patterns, you must keep building your emotional toughness. Watch your own reactions with care. Notice when old habits of looking for comfort or giving long reasons appear, and then pick a different path forward. This is not about pushing feelings down, but about aware control of yourself. By staying true to your own rules, you make a setting where their inner thinking can continue without breaks from emotional storms or strong neediness. The more steady and balanced you stay, the more powerful your influence grows in return. It is also helpful to see that small changes in their behavior carry real meaning. They might start with quiet actions, small admissions, careful talks, or hints of understanding. These signals are often missed because they seem small, but they truly show that your method is creating effects. Avoidant patterns seldom shift in one big moment. Change happens little by little. Each small sign of thinking marks proof that your limits and emotional strength are working. By watching without strong reactions, you let the full process happen in its natural way, giving them room to reach a real apology according to their own inner clock. Comment hurt if an avoidant has left you feeling ignored and broken. This stage also teaches an important idea about patience and trust. You must believe in the method, believe in your own strength, and believe that change works best when it comes from inside the person rather than from outside pressure. Patience is not doing nothing at all. It is a clear and aware decision to hold your honest way while allowing the results of avoidance to show themselves. The moment an avoidant person starts to understand the true effect of their choices, a real apology moves closer to happening. That apology holds much more true value than one forced by arguments, because it grows from their own awareness instead of any duty they feel pushed to follow. In addition, this process grows a deep change inside you as well. As you keep your limits, stay balanced, and practice careful holding back, you strengthen your own feeling of personal value. You learn to prize your own calm more than the need for quick recognition from others. You begin seeing that your joy and steady base do not rely on another person's words of understanding. This inner strength not only prepares the ground for their possible apology, but also makes certain that no matter what they choose to do, your own life moves forward with clear sight, strong focus, and sure confidence. Finally, the true power of this stage rests in joining awareness building with strong self-possession. By steadily showing your strength, emotional balance and freedom, you create a natural mirror for the avoidant person to face. They see the real results of what they have done and feel called to meet it inside themselves. This inner meeting leads to regret and honest recognition, not because of any tricks or forced guilt, but because the truth of their actions becomes something they can no longer push away. And when the apology does arrive at last, it carries real depth, truth, and meaning that cannot be created or demanded by force. This approach also shows a bigger truth about connections and how people behave. The person who caused you pain cannot direct your personal growth, your self-respect, or your emotional freedom. By keeping your attention on your own steady base and self-value, you change the balance of power without using force or anger. You allow natural results to appear, giving them the chance to face their own self honestly. At the same time, you come out of the experience stronger, wiser, and more aware of yourself, completely able to accept a genuine apology if it comes, or to move forward with full confidence, even if it never arrives. Like the video, comment what you'll try first, and subscribe to learn how to get closure from avoidance.